We could all use a little more time in the day to do the things we want to do instead of the things we have to do. That's what robotic lawnmowers give us, in addition to maintaining control over when and how our grass is cut. This is the Goat A3000 by ECOVACS, and it is a unique top of the line mower because it does not rely on boundary wires or satellites and RTKs. It has a all-in-one unit with a LiDAR vision system to navigate. This makes for an incredibly easy setup because we only have two main components. First, our charging station, which we put in a clear area. We connect the included power supply to the charging station and then plug the power supply into an outlet. I've got one to the right of the service door here, and we can see it comes with a very long cable that allows good reach to outlets. After that's completed, we use the included ground screws and just secure the power supply to the ground. The next thing we do is put the mower in the charging station and it will turn on. Once it boots up, it will ask for a 4-place pin. This is for security purposes where if somebody takes this thing, they will not be able to operate it unless they have this pin. For demonstration purposes, I use 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we have that complete, we need to download the ECOVACS app onto our smartphone and then connect to the mower. This will connect via Bluetooth, and then you use that to connect to your home's Wi-Fi system. The app does a great job of walking you through this process, and in my case, it went very smoothly. I didn't have any errors. Now, once you connect, it may require you to update the mower to the latest version, like it is for me here, which is a fairly quick process if you've got a good internet connection. After we have the app set up, the robot connected, and it's charged up, we can start the mapping process. So this needs to be done one time to set the boundaries of our lawn. Now, this also has a unique feature in that it's able to self-map areas where you have a clear boundary. So right now, it's doing that auto mapping process. You can see the vision system and the LiDAR is being used to automatically navigate around this basketball pole in addition to following the line between the grass and the driveway. It does quite a good job doing so. Now we're going to make a turn and follow these concrete edgers. These concrete edgers have been problems with robot mowers for me because they're just slightly above the grass, but can provide a place where a robot mower gets hung up. In this case, it's following quite well until this area. And you can see because that level is so close to the grass, I decided to change from auto mapping to manual mapping. And basically, that enables you to drive the robot around with a joystick on your smartphone um, to make sure it's following the boundary that you want it to follow. So I let it go for a little while, and this is where I change to manual mode, and I'm gonna back up the mower and redo this section here. You can see within the app, there's a nice little joystick that you use with your thumb to control the path of the mower. I have a very similar in-depth review of the Goat A2500, which has the same chassis and basic system as this mower, except it uses satellite navigation through an RTK system instead of the LiDAR, so you need a separate antenna. Um, but in that review, I covered the same area. This slope is actually beyond the recommended slope for this particular mower. I went back into auto here and you can see I'm testing it out. Not necessarily that if it can handle this slope because I know it's above the rating, but how it reacts to the sliding. Does it air out? Does it stop mapping or does it just recover? And in this case, the mower is just recovering on itself. It's not airing out. It's not just stopping in the middle of the road. It's recovering its position and moving on, which I greatly appreciate. The worst thing you can have is come home from work or something like that, and you thought the lawn got mowed, but it didn't because the mower slid a little bit and then just stopped working. So um, this is a great sign for this particular mower where it just recovers uh, in a very reasonable manner. Right here, I switched back to manual mode as you saw because this is the property line. There's no defined line here for the mower to follow an automatic mapping mode. So I went back into manual and I'm controlling it with the toggle. Then going up here, I've got this transition between grass and wooded area, sort of a natural native wooded area with some blackberry brush hanging over. So I'm going into manual mode here until I get this blackberry brush because I know that can interfere a little bit. But here I'm in a more clear area and went back into auto mapping mode. And you can see it does a pretty darn good job of following the grass on the edge of the native. Now it's trying to be quite precise in this area. You can see it's trying to get exactly on the border. So it's a little bit slower than if I were doing manual mapping and it's doing a little bit more movement, but it's still definitely possible. After doing this a bit, I decided to go back into manual mode just simply to speed things up a little bit. You can see how the speed is a little bit better and it's a little bit smoother than having it auto map. But again, I wouldn't expect it to perform great here. This is a very undefined edge. Now we're on a more defined edge. The edge of the lawn here is coming up against the cul-de-sac and this French drain. So going back into auto mapping, we can see it follows the line here between grass and concrete quite well. Now we've got this area with a natural stone retaining wall. And as the A2500 did, the A3000 follows it very nicely. This slope is fairly significant right below this wall too, but it's not having an issue with that. After we finish up around the stone retaining wall, I go back into manual to define the edge with these interlocking edgers. For the main reason is we've got a slope coming down to these edgers. And I know from experience that if the front wheels of this mower or the mower gets a little bit too close to these, it can get stuck and slide down into this rock area or down on the retaining wall. So I'm doing manual to stay a few inches further away than the auto mapping would, just to give the bot a little extra clearance in this area um, to ensure that it doesn't get stuck in that rock area. Now that we got it back into auto mapping, we can see it does a great job of following the edge on the concrete here. And these pavers or these interlocking edgers are on the high side of a slope. So I'm comfortable going back into auto mapping in this particular scenario because I know it's not going to slide over these. So we can see it does a very good job following even these interlocking edgers on the high side of a slope. It's relatively level here, but as we come around this corner, we're going to have a similar slope that we did on the low side, but we're just going to be on the high side. And the mower does a very good job of following that edge. Also, you can probably tell that these edgers are a little bit proud of the grass, where on the low side, they're quite level with it. So there's a little bit more of a lip or an edge for the vision system and the LiDAR to detect versus the other side. Now we've done the complete loop around the lawn, and we can see we've generated our map, the outer boundary. You can see this yard is quite complicated and a funny shape, so it did take a little bit of a time. But now we can move on to no entry zones, which are basically flower beds and other things within that overall boundary where you do not want the robot mower to go. Setting this up is very easy, as I'm showing on the app here. We just go into mapping and the no entry zones, and we're going to drive it over to our start point for the first one, this flower bed here. Once we arrive there, we simply click start, and then we manually drive the bot around this flower bed to define the no entry zone. You can see I'm taking my time to make sure I get around those bends okay. And once we arrive back at our start location, the app will automatically notify us that we've completed the loop. And if we accept the results, it will create our no entry zone. We click end there, and we can see the red circles showed up on the map, which defines our first no entry zone. And then we can even define the type of no entry zone that it is. Just finished the mapping. It does take a little while. I've got a very complicated yard with a lot of no entry zones, but it went flawlessly, no errors, no issues with the LiDAR navigation. Now that the map is done, we can tell the bot to go mow. There's several ways to do this. One is just on demand, so you can tell the bot, go mow the lawn right now, or you can set up a schedule. You can have it cut every day and define certain hours. You can have it cut every other day. Basically, you have a calendar and you can tell it what days of the week you want to cut. And you can set up multiple zones in your yard, so you can cut different parts of your yards alternating days or what have you. It also has a feature to change cut direction every week. So you can see I'm basically cutting north-south right now, and it would say next week, if I select that option, it will cut east and west to give you a checkerboard pattern. As you can tell, the cut quality on this mower is exceptional. One of the reasons for this is this mower has a 32-volt system. Its nearest competitor, or mower in this class, is down, I think, around 24 volts. Being higher voltage means we can spin the cutting discs faster with less amperage and heat. So these discs spin significantly faster than its competitors, and so it's able to cut the grass better. The other thing this allows is the drive motors to spin faster also. So not only does it have incredible cut quality because of the speed of the blades, the cutting discs are also overlapping, which will give you a view of the cutting deck after this first mow and show you what I'm talking about there. But it's also the fastest cutting mower while maintaining very great cut quality. And again, due to that 32-volt system, the drive motors are able to go faster with less amperage and to prevent overheating. So this unit, definitely one of its big advantages is its cut speed. It's able to do my entire lawn in an afternoon into the evening a little bit, which no other robot mower in this class has been able to do. The A3000 has a 5 amp hour battery, which is the same as the A2500. but it also comes with a very significant power supply that offers very fast charging. So on that battery, it can do about a third of my lawn until it needs to come and recharge. Then a recharge only takes 45 minutes and it's on its way again. I wanted to give you a view of the end here when we were mapping. This is the area where the bot was slipping a little bit when the one drive wheel would get onto the concrete. And this slope exceeds their claimed rating, but we can see here in practice when it's mowing, it does a really good job in this area. I monitored the entire cut along this area and I did catch it slipping up once here. Where the front wheels get onto that concrete and it slides a little bit. Again, this slope exceeds their rating for it, what they say it should be used on, but you can see how well the bot recovered. It's 7 o'clock, just got back from coaching a softball game and the lawn is mowed. That's awesome. And did a very good job. It mowed in the same direction as the first time, so this is the second cut. And there's a setting in there every week, it'll change direction. So if you mow more than once a week, like I did, I skipped 2 days for rain and then mowed again. But anyway, started about 10 a.m. cutting. 7 p.m. it's done. By far and away, the fastest robot mower I've ever experienced. And it does that while giving a good cut quality. That 32 volt system spinning those cutting discs faster so that it doesn't miss any grass is the key. And again, blown away with the speed of it. Also, zero errors with that LiDAR system. It still provides very straight lines like a GPS or RTK system. The navigation has been really good. No downfalls that I see. And it's all in one. We don't need a separate antenna or anything like that. So very nice platform. That LiDAR is working. Here's a look at the underside of the mower after 2 cuts, and I have to say it's incredibly clean. The wheels are obviously filled with mud. I've got some spots where I did some leveling this spring, so that's not surprising, and it's been wet. But impressed that we don't have a bunch of grass buildup, considering that the grass was damp. So yeah, looks good. So here's the offset design. We can see between the 2 blades, if we draw a straight line down, there's overlap between the blades, which if these discs are in a line here, you can't have overlap or they're gonna hit. So this is a really good design and contributes to that nice cut quality. But I did the entire yard with 1 zone, and I could make multiple zones. The only thing I don't like about making multiple zones to deal with the trampoline, I could move into zone 2 while I cut zone 1 and then switch it back and forth. The thing that does though is really interrupt my stripes and the long cutting path. So I have to choose a part in the lawn where those 2 zones come together, and I don't really want to do that. So what I'm going to try here is make a temporary no entry zone around the trampoline and then delete it, and wherever I move it, I'll just make another one. So we'll see how user friendly the app is to do that. Here we are in the app. I've already set up the no entry zone for the trampoline. If we go back into the no entry feature and we click delete, it gives us an option to delete any no entry zone, and it'll refresh, and boom, our zone around the trampoline is gone. So it's incredibly user friendly. Refresh the map, it plans its route as if that was never there. So setting up temporary no entry zones is a breeze, and deleting them. Now we've got the option here to draw a dividing line to create multiple zones out of the 1 yard. It gives you a line that you can drag around each endpoint here. And basically right where the trampoline is sitting, I'm drawing a line through the lawn there to divide up this one big zone into 2 zones, so I can drag the trampoline into zone 2 and cut zone 1 and vice versa. So that's quite user friendly. Either way is an option. Using the no entry zone around the trampoline just leaves you with a circle of uncut grass that you have to deal with later. So let's see how cutting is with 2 zones. Just finishing up zone 1. Cut looks amazing. The last thing the Goat does after it does the straight lines on the inside is do an edge pass around to get tight to all the edges. So that is great to see. Keep it trimmed up nicely on the edges and minimize the amount of string trimming we have to do. You can see on this edge here that LiDAR and the vision system's picking up some of that blackberry brush that's hanging over, so it's going right around that. Doing a great job. We've got zone 1 completely done. Let's do zone 2. See how they match up. We have the Goat doing zone 2. And as I'm pleasantly surprised, our lines are matching up perfectly with zone 1. So even though we've got a boundary between the two, things are looking good because our lines are continuous in the same direction. I did some experimenting. I did zone 1 on the slower cut speed, and then I'm doing zone 2 on the faster cut speed, and I don't really notice a cut quality difference between the two. And as again I said, I didn't think I did see that before, but I just wanted to run a full-scale test, and I don't notice a difference on my Kentucky bluegrass here. Maybe some thicker Bermudas or something like that, you might notice a difference, but I'm happy to say that those cutting discs are moving fast enough to keep up with the fast cut speed. And I've had the Goat do a couple of mowings for me. I'm ready to render my verdict and give a summary of who this mower is for. So I did a full review video of the A2500, which is the brother to the A3000. That unit has the same exact chassis, same cutting system, just uses RTK technology with GPS satellites, or GPS I should say, to control its position in addition to the vision system. This guy again uses a LiDAR and vision system to navigate. So overall, actual use, they're equivalent. They both do a great job. Lines are straight, perfect. Positioning, I'd say, between the two is basically the same. I haven't noticed a difference between the performance on the two models. This LiDAR system is $1,000 more, so it begs the question, why would I get this one versus the 2500? Well, the big reason that you would do that is if you have a canopy like this over your lawn that interferes with satellite signal. If you have this all the way around your yard, you're going to struggle with a good satellite signal and positioning on the 2500 and the RTK system. That is a reason why you would go with the LiDAR system. It's all in this unit and actually uses the LiDAR sensor, which is sending a laser out all around, and it's reflecting off objects and getting a 3D map of its environment. So a big reason that this one's $1,000 more is the LiDAR system itself, but also the compute system, or the compute power, the microprocessor that you need to gather all that data and crunch it into a 3D map and then use it to navigate is a lot more. A decade ago, that would be unthinkable to have that much processing power in this small of a unit. So that's very cool technology that doesn't need line of sight to the sky to get you around. So another reason why you'd want the LiDAR system is you don't need the RTK. Basically, it's an antenna on your house or a pole, and that's something you cannot move around. The position of that bot is tied exactly to that position, which if it's on a pole on the ground can get knocked around a bit, or if you've got visibility issues with a canopy and stuff like that, you might have to put it up on the peak of your roof. And if you don't want to do that, the LiDAR system is your solution. It's very elegant. You only have two pieces. You've got the robot mower. The charging station setup is extremely simple. That's the way to go for you if you don't want the RTK. Or you've got something that looks like this all the way around your lawn, close to your house. Likely the LiDAR system is the way to go. You're not going to have good luck with a satellite. So overall, this is a great unit. I fully recommend it. It does a great job on the lawn. The cut quality is great. And again, the distinguishing features are this LiDAR system. Its cut speed, while still maintaining cut quality too, is top notch. I haven't seen anything better than that. Watch out for it. It does sometimes detect obstacles. This grass here, you can see it's skipped. The good news is this is reflected on the map. It knows it didn't cut this strip and will come back last thing and clean up these strips that it missed. So you can see there it just turned around too. So I've got some lumps and bumps here. Maybe it detected something and decided to turn around. Don't panic. It knows it skipped that grass and it cleans it up all in the end. I'm assuming that's going to be something maybe that navigation and route planning will be refined over time as the app is updated. But again, it's more just an awareness piece. If you see a strip of missed grass, know that it didn't forget to do it. It's going to come back after the fact. But maybe in the future, they'll make it so it does that earlier on after the next pass. It'll come back and clean that up, and instead of doing the entire area and skipping a few here and there and then coming back after the fact and cleaning up. But again, doesn't affect the functionality of the mower at all or the end result. Just something to be aware of. But overall, great unit. Cuts faster, which I really appreciate during rainy days. You get behind, and if you've got a bigger lawn like I do, some of the mowers cut so slowly that it takes a significant amount of time to catch up, and then you end up having to cut taller so you don't make a mess and shock the grass. So it's great to have the ability to cut so quickly. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review and test of this A3000 Goat by ECOVACS. Appreciate ECOVACS providing the mower for me. Again, if they weren't able to do that, I would not be able to test out the number of mowers I do. It just wouldn't be practical. If you want an update on the ECOVACS products and all the other robot mowers that I've tested, the best way to stay informed is subscribe to my channel, hit the notifications button, and you'll see me in future videos. Thanks for watching. Adios.